First up, a huge thank you to Panenka Bar and Grill for supporting the channel. You can find us there before every home game and post-game, either celebrating or drowning our sorrows. It's a great premium bar and it's situated less than half a mile from beautiful downtown Bramall Lane.
Also, a huge thank you to Parrot Peel. They are a virtual band who create innovative musical experiences just for you. But you already knew that, didn't you? We've been talking about them for long enough. But please do go to parrotpeel.com and check them out because they are awesome.
Ale, ale, ale. Ale, ale, ale. Ale, ale, ale.
Welcome to the Sheff United Way. It's a match preview. Hull City versus the Red and White Wizards. I love them so much. On Saturday, 12:30 p.m. kickoff at the MKM Stadium. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called now. Also, I am not alone. Ollie is joining me today. Hey. Ollie, welcome back. Ollie, does anyone play for Hull that we should ever have heard of? Can you think of any?
No, I can't think of anyone. Surely, no. Players wouldn't leave United and end up.
Wouldn't leave United,
right?
No, I think there's obviously there's actually the obvious one, Regan Slater.
Obviously,
yeah, there is that. Now we will actually talk about team news for both sides, but our predicted lineup is where we're going to jump to straight away, and it is sponsored by our wonderful friend Sharon, Shazbat Designs, a long-time Sheff United Way supporter. She's a self-employed pyrographer specialising in unique, hand-burnt, personalised wooden gifts. No two pieces are ever the same. And she also sells ready-made items on her website, shazbatdesigns.co.uk, as you can see if you're watching on screen. The cutoff for Advent calendars is this coming Sunday. No time to waste. You can get the discount with the code SUW for Sheff United Way, which you put in at checkout, or just send her a message. She's lovely. You can just send her a message mentioning Sheff United Way. Right, Ollie, without further ado, tell me what is going to be the lineup that Sheffield United is going to play at Hull.
Yeah, it's always a tricky one in terms of trying to predict what Wilder's going to do with his starting 11. I think everyone who's obviously followed his multiple terms in Starters United knows he can, particularly in 3-game weeks, be prone to mix his team around just a little bit. But for me, after a win against Oxford, and then after a much improved performance, and I did think it was a much improved performance against Southampton, I don't think we will see that many changes going into this game. For the first time against Southampton, I thought we looked like a team who were, believe it or not, we were capable of maybe scoring a goal. We scored one really good one, the first bit of really nice attacking play where Harmer and Campbell have linked up. We were then unlucky not to add to it. Campbell had another great chance. O'Hare had a chance. So for me, I think this actually felt like progress. It felt like a team who are ready to get themselves going, and it's going to be huge. We've got to be creative. We've got to be able to score goals because we are in a huge mess. We've got to dig ourselves out of that, and the only way to do that is by scoring goals, if we're being honest. Now, there's a couple of big questions for me. The big one in particular is I thought Tom Davies was great midweek. I thought he had a really good game. I know there's been some suggestion that he was to potentially blame for the first Hull goal if Ross Stewart was his man that should have been marking at the corner. But overall, I thought he was a massive improvement on what we've seen in central midfield so far this season. But of course, after such a long injury layoff for a player who's got such a long injury history, can he start 2 games in 5 days? That's a big question, and I think it'll be really interesting to see how Wilder approaches that one. We do, of course, have 2 weeks off after this, so maybe that gives him a chance to start again. The other question, and I mean, we whisper this one quietly, is Michael Cooper, and is his form a real problem? And would it benefit him to have a moment out of the spotlight after what has been quite a poor start to the season? Now, obviously, I don't expect that. Michael Cooper is our number one. At his best, he is the best goalkeeper in the Championship, and he is probably the safest position in all of the squad. But yeah, he has a big lack of form at the moment, and I thought the confidence in him just looked completely drained against Southampton, particularly with the ball at his feet. We saw 2 or 3 errors, and so it's really potentially going to be an issue for United that we do have to address at some point, but it's not going to matter here. He's going to start. We all have to just back him, get behind him, and get behind this entire team. So, yeah, I don't think there's going to be any changes. The team I actually think will play will be Cooper in goal, Tanganga, McGuinness, me, Burrows, Peck and Davis in midfield, Ogbene, O'Hare, Harmer, and Tyrese Campbell. That's what I think it's going to be. I don't see the need for any changes. The only question is about fitness for Tom Davis. Other than that, I think we go with exactly what we have seen. Hal, what are you thinking? Do you like the sounds of going again after Southampton? Or for you, do you think we should ring a couple of changes after 2 games already this week?
I was chatting with Statsman Adam, and he's saying we've got to go 2 up top. And the only issue there is that we just don't have a lot of strikers. So, you get an injury. Who do you have as options on the bench? One, Ings, he's not fully fit. Campbell, Cannon is not firing. Quite literally, it's a difficult one, and I can see why Chris is probably not going to go with 2.
Yeah. I would love us to try 2 up top. I really think there's such an option there in terms of us trying to get the most out of this team, but we do not have the players. We don't. I mean, the Scottish striker we were linked with in the summer who might have been perfect to play in a 2 up front with somebody like Tyrese Campbell. There was a Welsh striker who we already had at the club who might have been perfect to play in a front 2 with somebody like Tyrese Campbell, but we just don't have those options. And if you play Ings or you play Cannon, I just don't see how that partnership works or functions. I still see us as being probably a bit too small in terms of trying to create that partnership. So I'd love to see us go 2 up front. I think hopefully if we do our recruitment properly in January, we will then see us try that. But for right now, just don't think we've got the options.
I watch a lot of European football, and Olympique Lyonnais, who I've developed a soft spot for after their fans came to Bramall Lane, they don't really have too many recognised strikers, and they've been playing attacking midfielders in advanced roles, sometimes without any strikers on the pitch. They're doing really well. St. Pauli, who are a team I also like to watch, they have been doing the same thing, both doing really well. Is it risky to throw players that have attacking attributes in what is not naturally their position? Because let's be honest, it hasn't been working as it is. So is it going to be like crazy to try something that might also not work?
I mean, like you say, it's not working anyway, so there's no harm in trying something different. The fated false 9, as it were, giving us something a little bit different up front. But of course, I don't know that we've got a player who could do that from midfield. No. I don't know who plays it. I mean, you'd probably have to play Callum O'Hare there, and I like Callum O'Hare. Everybody knows I've defended quite a lot of Callum O'Hare. I wouldn't back him one-on-one with a keeper. And so I think hopefully Tyrese got some confidence from that fantastic goal against Southampton. Hopefully that gets him into a run of form and he can really kick on from here. It's possible that this can work. It worked for so much of last season. We've just got to try and get a bit of hope and faith into where they're at.
Yeah. Louis Marsh, probably the only player at the club really that could work in that position. It worked for Barcelona. And let us know your thoughts. Now, this is the time for the opposition view. It comes from the To Hull and Back podcast. Great name. They do have injuries, Hull. Bellumi, Catazzo, and Crooks. Good player, Crooks. So the likely lineup is Panda in goal, Coyle at right back, centre backs, John, is it Egan?
Egan.
Hughes, Giles at left back, central midfielders. Is it Lundstram, I believe? Actually, I'm genuinely going to struggle with this name. Hadzia Metovic. Slatter, Ben Gelhart, McBurney, Miller. There we are. Right. I should have said those as they're actually said. But the To Hull and Back podcast have predicted that Hull will win this one 2-1, saying that we, Hull, score lots, but also concede lots. So that's interesting. Ajay may come back into the lineup over Egan, and Miller might start yet, but, made a great 45-minute cameo in his first game back after a year out with an awful ACL. Hull seemingly only have a decent 45 minutes in them, but this is what the To Hull and Back podcast say. We're certainly a good watch for the neutral this season. The Giles McBurney link-up is particularly dangerous, with all 5 of Giles' assists so far being 4 McBurney goals. Very interesting. Now, the referee for this one, and they genuinely can have a big impact on this game, is brought to you by Parrot Peel. Parrot Peel, a virtual band. Many of their members are Blades, so do support them. parrotpeel.com. That is PARROTPEEL.com. Now, the referee for this one is Gavin Ward from Surrey. He's already refereed Hull this season in their 4-2 defeat at Bristol City. He's already refereed us this season as well. He was our ref for the League Cup loss at St Andrews against Birmingham City when Harmer scored that worldie. Last season, he took charge of 30 games, issuing 108 yellows, which is average. He gave 6 red cards, 4 straight reds, and he issued just 7 penalties. Now, he refereed our 1-0 home win last season against Sunderland, where he did actually give quite a lot of things. You might remember there was a red, there was a pen. He was in charge of Hull last season as they lost 2-0 at Leeds. And also, if you're interested, the ref for Sheffield Wednesday versus Coventry City is the man we had the pleasure of enduring on Tuesday night, Adam Herczeg, Ollie.
Yeah, good luck to Wednesday and Coventry, I suppose. At least he'll only have to actually be the ref for, 9 minutes, is it, that they're planning
maybe.
for? So 9-10 minutes, he'll be fine. Even he can't mess it up in 10 minutes, you would imagine. Yeah, he weren't great, was he? Let's be honest. I don't think I've ever seen a referee who can't count to 10 before. That was new for me.
That was bizarre. Look, I will say I've read a lot of things about people saying that he might have been, corrupt and all that. Look, no. I watch football all over the world. I most recently I watched a game in the Middle East, which was suspicious. I'm not going to say exactly where, and it's fairly obvious. And it just doesn't happen in England. It's just not. I've been to games. I'll just say I went to a game last season in Cyprus in the 3rd division, which was clearly fixed, and everyone could tell. It does not happen in the Championship. So we need to stop thinking like that. But he did have a stinker.
Yeah, he weren't corrupt. He was incompetent. You can still really have a go at someone for just being rubbish. And I think
there's a massive difference between being corrupt and incompetent. Yeah, so I don't really want to have any more of that because my timeline was just full of this guy needs to be investigated. I don't think that's true.
No, I do agree. But let's move on. Let's go into our score predictions. And if you would like your score prediction being shared as part of this, as well as just supporting everything that we try and do to make sure we're delivering the best possible content for fans, please head to patreon.com/Sheff United Way. It just massively helps us to just continue doing everything that we want to do so that we can make this channel as good as we can. So in terms of the score predictions, now I will jump in here and say that I am going to get some stick whatever I say. The Hull and Back podcast, I've been having a nice little back and forth with Nathaniel so far this season, because in my pre-season predictions that I did with Gab Sutton on my other show for the EFL debate, I predicted Hull to finish bottom of the league. I predicted them to finish below Wednesday. I made some bold claims about their squad building, about the decision-making of their ownership, about the difficulties they've got off-field. And I now get an almost weekly message from Nathaniel reminding me of those predictions and reminding me that I maybe went a little bit early. So it's going to be a bit of spice to this one, even just for me, never mind for the players. I am going to go in straight away. I think this will be a draw. I think United will get a positive result on the road. I think we'll continue getting better. Their defence has been so shaky so far this season. I like a lot of the individuals, but there are problems that they've got, and I do think that'll maybe play in United's favour and actually give us the chance to get some confidence into those attacking players. I'm going to go crazy. I think this is going to be a 2-2 draw. In terms of our other fans from our Patreon, Tom thinks that the Blades are going to win 2-1. He also thinks we'll score 2 goals, 2 football goals, Hal. And he thinks McBurney will get the goal for Hull, whereas Lee believes we'll win 2-0. Everybody thinks there's going to be 2 football goals. What else is going on, Hal?
Oh, I've never heard it described as 2 football goals before. I'm not against it. I back it. Scott is going 1 apiece, McBurney for Hull. It's amazing how many people we said, what's your score prediction going to be? And almost everyone listing the goal scorers, which we don't always get. And all of them for Hull being McBurney. But Burrows apparently for the Blades. I'm not sure Burrows is in the best form at the moment, but maybe, you never know. Steve also predicts 1 apiece, and it's going to be one of the 4 former Blades who will score for the Tigers. He says, Lewis says 3-1 Blades, McBurney for them, Campbell, Ogbene and Ings for United. I will have whatever you're having.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind a little bit of that. If we score 3 football goals, then we really will be getting excited. Ant thinks that it'll be 1-0 to United. Nick, the gaffer, thinks it's going to be a 1-1 draw. Adam, who I was lucky enough to see when he came over for the game on Tuesday night, he was a little bit worse for wear, shall we say, by the time I saw him after full time. I think he'd been enjoying himself in the lead up to the game. He thinks that Hull are going to win this one. He was a bit downhearted, I think, after the game on Tuesday. He's gone for a 2-0 Hull win, and he leaves us on a downer. Hal, you hate giving yours, but you're going to have to again today because you've got to bring us back up. We're not ending on a defeat. What do you think the score is going to be? And who is this chicken in the middle of my screen?
We did a watch along back in the day when we used to do them when it was in COVID in lockdown, and we used to play games if we were getting hammered in the Prem, like we were during that sort
Standard.
of second season. I think it was Arsenal. We were getting beaten at the Lane quite heavily, and so we just said, right, let's just take our minds off it. We want chicken-related footballers, and there were some really good ones, some really clever ones, but the worst one was someone suggested Ollie McChicken. Which is just lazy. Like John Egan, that's like a good one,
Yeah.
and that worked. But I do remember Ollie McChicken being absolutely the worst. So we had that made by our good pal Bobby in the background for OGs that remember the good old days of Sheff United way. When I still used to enjoy it. My prediction will be let's go 1-0 Blades. You've kind of forced me into a corner of positivity, which is a corner I very rarely reside in. But I will say thank you, Ollie.
No, of course. Enjoyed it. Always nice to try and get there. Last game before an international break. So hoping for some positivity, something to kick us off. I was at Hull last year where it was a fantastic sort of away day to start the season off right. It was quite early on, if I remember correctly, and we all had a lot of fun chanting Anel's name. So hopefully there'll be a new chant, a new hero, a new celebration, and everybody will be having a great weekend to head into the international break with.
Yeah, loads of memories of going to Hull. Usually a night game away, and I've had so many good times watching us get results there. Thank you all for watching or listening to this match preview. If you don't already, please do check out our audio podcast. Do leave us a review as well if you get a chance. Until next time, thank you so much. Cheers, Ollie.
Ollie, Ollie, Ollie.